Hey, new lawyers, Jim Solbach here with some more tips to make you the best attorney that you can be. What do you do when your opponent, your adversary, is just kind of jerking you around, for lack of a better terminology? What if you're encountering delays by your opponent? This is going to happen, especially if you're a litigator. And a lot of times it's not happening because the attorney just isn't good at not returning phone calls, filing things when he or she is supposed to. Sometimes it's tactical. Sometimes it's the delay comes from usually the defendant's side. If you're the plaintiff, you're one prosecuting the claim, you want to move that along. You're constantly pushing and pushing. Sometimes the defense is just to delay things. What do? Well, first of all, you have to define and identify that that's what's happening, because sometimes the lawyer just isn't very good at getting back to you, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that you decide that, yes, this attorney is tactically trying to delay this proceeding as long as possible, especially if you have claims involving insurance companies. And insurance companies love to do this. So you've identified, okay, I have an issue here. Everything is being done to delay. My phone calls aren't being returned. There's constant requests for adjournments. Things aren't being filed on time, and the case just is going nowhere. You got to do something about that, okay? So one of the things you do is first bring it to the attention of your opponent. Look, I know what you're doing. I mean, that's not going to solve it, but to let them know, this is not acceptable. I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to let you do this. If you telegraph that enough times, sometimes they'll stop. Most of the time, they won't. Now, there are statutes that are going to be helpful for you. For example, in federal practice, there are statutes that are specifically designed to sanction attorneys who are in bad faith delaying proceedings. But you have to prove bad faith. So you have to start to build a record here of everything that's been happening. And when it's compelling enough and it's very obvious that there's a delay tactic going on, you have to bring it to the attention of the court. Now, really, you're not telling the court anything that it doesn't already know. It knows that your case is moving much slower than other cases, and unless you identify that your opponent is the one doing this, the court's going to assume that you're also part of this delay. Judges hate that. They want things to move on their calendars. They don't like delays. So you can then, if you've built a case, you've brought it to the attention of the attorney, he or she is not stopping, then you have to kind of rattle their cage, and you have to threaten the use of these statutes. And if you're going to threaten them, you can't just be an idle threat. You have to let them know, I'm gonna file a motion. I really don't want to file a motion for sanctions against a fellow attorney. I really don't want to do that. But if this continues, I'm going to have to. And if it continues even after that, and sometimes it will because the lawyer just doesn't care, you're going to have to file a motion. Bring it before the court, get the sanctions, and get these delays stopped. So you've done something to stop the delays, but you've also telegraphed to the court, like, I'm not the one responsible for this. And if you have a good record that you can put in your motion, you're going to be successful. The other player here is your client. Okay, your client sees this going on for months and months and is checking with you what's happening with the case. And after the fifth time you say, we're in the same place we were 6 months ago, nothing's happening. Let me tell you something. Unless you do something about it, your client's going to assume that this lays on your shoulders. Why aren't you doing something about this? Why are you letting this happen? That's how they think. So when you take steps to stop these delays, you got to bring your client into the loop on these. If you send letters to the other attorney, you got to CC, or emails, you want to CC the client. And when you file that motion, make sure you file that or serve that upon your client to let them know, look, you're not hiding it. They know there's a delay. It's not like you're going to keep this from them, but you're telling them, yeah, there's a delay. It's tactical. It's being done to delay your case, and I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to get this stopped. Good lawyers know how to do this.